Every year, I get extremely hyped to watch gaming events like Gamescom or the Game Awards. To me, they feel like echoes of the last bastion of what was once E3. Between the Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo press conferences, not to mention the multitude of various other showcases, there's just so many game companies trying to get us to buy their product. But despite the corporate influence looming over the industry, there's something about seeing game announcements and world premieres that just gets me so excited and takes me right back to when I was a kid watching E3. And after these events are over, I'll head over to Steam and I'll wishlist all of the cool games that I just saw. And it's usually around this moment where it dawns on me. I probably won't be able to play not even half of the games I just wishlisted. I come crashing back down to reality, realizing that my work schedule is just too demanding to play that many games. But it got me thinking, why is that the case? Why is it that the amount of games I play and complete seem to dwindle more and more with each passing year, yet the amount of TV shows I watch remains the same? If lack of time was really the problem, shouldn't both of these leisure activities be affected? Well, after doing a little bit of research, I started to think that maybe it wasn't just me, but perhaps there was something else at play here. In fact, not just one thing, but so many things and various factors that I felt like I needed to make a whole new video about it. And where else to start than probably the most common factor? Back in the summer of 2006, a certain game fell into my lap that completely consumed my life. That game was The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. At that point in my life, I had never quite seen a game of that scale. It was really one of the first games that had me hooked for months at a time. I remember my friend and I had this competition. Who could log 100 hours first? You see, at that time, most games could be completed in under 12 hours or so. So when you found a game that was longer, not only did it feel different, but you could easily fit it into your gaming schedule because there just wasn't that many games competing for your time. At least, not as much as there are today. Today, I feel like that benchmark of 12 hours has been pushed exponentially higher, and I keep asking myself why that is. And the only reason I keep coming back to is that analogy from the movie Jurassic World. The one line in the movie where Claire says,
"Let's be honest. No one's impressed by a dinosaur anymore. These days, kids look at a stegosaurus like an elephant from the city zoo. Consumers want them bigger, louder, more teeth."
The same thing can be said here about the current video game market. Game companies keep trying to one-up themselves by releasing games that are bigger, longer, and more time-consuming than their last. Almost as if more time spent in the game equals more quality. But is that really the case? Just look at a game like Portal. It'll take you not more than 3 hours to complete, yet you can constantly find it in so many top 10 lists of the best games ever made. Same goes for games like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Firewatch, Titanfall 2, Halo, Uncharted. All of these games can be completed in under 10 hours and are constantly being revered as some of the best games out there, which only drives the point further that a longer game doesn't necessarily mean a better one. But I'm not trying to say that long games are the problem. No. The issue isn't that long games are inherently bad. There are plenty of lengthy games that are masterpieces. Games like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, Breath of the Wild, pretty much any Rockstar game. These games get it right. But I'm not talking about these games. I'm talking about games that have all filler and no killer. I'm talking about games that have an open world concept for the sake of having an open world concept. How many games have you played that feel like they're just filled with pointless side activities, fetch quests, and repetitive tasks? These redundant things can stretch a fun 10-hour game into a 40-hour bore fest. You see a cool trailer at one of these shows and immediately mark the release date in your calendar, completely forgetting that you've been duped countless times before. We're all guilty of this. We all let our guard down, ignoring the warning signs just for a chance that a game might make us feel like a kid again. It's just a shame that these companies use these marketing tactics as a selling point to get you to buy their game. So many of these games feel barren, soulless, and void of personality. Companies like Bethesda, that used to be the pioneers of these kinds of games, are now just a former shell of what they used to be, and they seem to have kind of lost their way when it comes to what made their games so popular in the first place. And as someone who works a full-time job and doesn't have the same free time that I used to, I can't afford to have my time wasted if I have to play through 60 to 70% of filler just to enjoy that 20% of killer. And as much as the length of a game can be a problem, it's not even the biggest elephant in the room. If you thought it was hard to finish a 60-hour game, imagine playing a game where there's no end in sight. By now, most of us have already heard of the term games as a service or live service games. Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Destiny 2 are just a short list of games that fall into this category. These are games that are designed to hook you in and pretty much never let go. You're not just playing a game, you're signing up for a lifestyle. There's always a new update, a new season, some limited time event that you just can't miss. And that's where FOMO comes in, or the fear of missing out. You might be laughing at that idea, but it's real, and these games thrive on it. You start to feel like if you don't log in every day, you're gonna fall behind and miss out on exclusive rewards, or worse, become irrelevant in the community. The game becomes this endless cycle where you're always chasing the next big thing. But here's the kicker. While you're stuck grinding away in that one live service game, your backlog of other games is just sitting there, collecting dust. You see your friends logging in to start the new content update, and you know you have to go and join them because if you don't, you're gonna lose out on limited time gear and fall way too far behind. The mainstream gaming industry has become obsessed with the idea of creating endless worlds and experiences that keep players hooked for as long as possible. But it's not about making a great game anymore. It's about creating something that consumes your time and keeps you coming back, day after day after day. How many games reward you with some random item when you log in? The shift towards games as a service where ongoing content updates and in-game purchases are the norm has fueled this trend. Developers want players to stay engaged because it often means more revenue over time. It's like these games are designed to be life-consuming, taking up all of your free time and leaving you with no room to play anything else. They want to be the only game you play, and the crazy thing is, they're really good at it. So why do so many games want to be the only game you play? It's pretty simple. The more invested you are, the less likely you are to move on to something else. In an industry that's more competitive than ever, retaining players is crucial, and live service games are the ultimate tool for doing just that. They don't want just 60 hours from you. They want your months, your years, and if they can, your undivided attention. This shift has fundamentally changed the way we interact with games. What used to be a pastime has become a commitment, and the pressure to stay engaged can sometimes feel overwhelming. But as long as there are players willing to log in day after day, this will continue to happen. This live service style of game seems to be increasing year after year, and the trend shows no signs of slowing down. In the end, while the 60-hour game may push your limits, the live service game aims to redefine them entirely. No wonder my list of TV shows watched vastly outweighs my games played each year. If a lot of these new games seem to be live service, and if all live service games require my full undivided attention, then how am I going to play any of them? But here's the real problem. Not everyone has that kind of time. For those of us with busy lives, jobs, or families, sinking that much time into a single game just isn't feasible anymore. And yet, these are the games that dominate the market, leaving shorter, more focused experiences in the shadows. But there's something to be said about those shorter games. They respect your time. They're crafted to deliver a powerful experience without overstaying their welcome, and often, those are the games that stick with you long after you finish them. A game like Inside or Celeste may not take up much of your time, but they offer experiences that are tight, memorable, and deeply impactful. And in a world where so many games are forgettable, these types of games are more important than ever. Indie developers are the unsung heroes of this current gaming generation. While a lot of AAA games flood the market with dull and recycled material leaving a sour taste in our mouths, indie developers keep delivering despite the negativity. And unfortunately, the majority of players still don't know about the treasure trove of indie games that are out there, just waiting to be discovered. We all want to play a game that grabs us and keeps us coming back. But the truth is, games are being designed to take up all of your time on purpose. The longer you stay, the less likely you are to play something else. The more time you sink into one game, the less time you have for others, which means more of your attention and money stays locked in their ecosystem. It's why we're seeing more and more games become live service. They're designed to keep you hooked. But at some point you have to ask yourself, is that what gaming is supposed to be? In the end, it shouldn't be about how long a game is or how much time you spend in it. It should be about how it makes you feel and the impact it leaves on you well after the credits roll. Wow, guys, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everybody who watched my last two videos, specifically the why it's so hard to find a game you actually like. I did not expect the reaction that video got, It means a lot to me that so many people resonated with what I said in the video. So thanks a lot, guys, for people who watched it, people who subscribed. I'm not sure what we're at right now, but I think we're getting to 5,000, so which is pretty crazy for me. Really do appreciate it, and there's definitely going to be more stuff like this going further. As you can tell by this video, I hope this one was on par, if not better than that one. I do have a full-time job, so it's kind of hard for me to release as much as I would like to, but definitely, guys, it's all on the horizon. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully we see you guys in the next one.